welcome to Lips and Liner. I'm going to go over a few things about how to study and some of the tips and tricks I learned while I was in my bachelor's and some of the things I've learned even recently while in the master's program. So I hope that this helps you. Comment, subscribe, follow me, do whatever. I hope that you can get something good out of this video, and let me know if you have any tips and tricks that you would like to share with the rest of us. So, alright, let's get started. Alright, so first off, one of the things you want to do is buy your books early. Another thing, get 2 weeks ahead in the coursework that you're doing, both like get this week started and then the next week started. Talk to the professors as much as possible, email them, message them, ask questions, that kind of thing. Show up early to class. If you have a tight schedule, let the professor know, so I'll go into that as well, and then some other things as well. So that's some of the things I'm going to actually go over. I hope that that helps you, and I'll go ahead and jump into explaining all of those. So let's get into it. So one of the things is when you first buy your book, make sure that you're buying your book and that you're getting them early. If you get them early, you have a chance to kind of look over them without the actual stress of, oh my gosh, I have so much stuff to do right now, I don't even have time to look at my book, I've got so much junk to start taking care of. So instead of being like that, go ahead and get your book early, take a look at it like the week before classes start. Make sure you just have an idea of what it's going to look like. Check out the index and see what the wording is and see if you understand anything that's going on in the book or not. That way you can kind of get a feel for how hard that class is going to be for you. Some people, you know, science is really easy for, math is really easy for. For me, it's not. Some other things like just language or history or something, that's a little bit easier for me. I still, you know, have to work really hard for all of my grades, but it is something that's a little bit easier for me. So look into those and see how hard the class is going to be, and then you can also kind of plan ahead for all the things that you're going to need for it. Okay, so when you go into buying your book, take a look at eBay and Amazon. Look at both the buy it now and the auction prices on eBay and see what you can get it for. If you buy it ahead of time, you do have the opportunity to probably buy it a lot cheaper than if you just go to the school and buy it. If you do purchase it in the school, see if there's a rent type of contract that you can use, or you can purchase them. If you purchase them, you know, obviously it's going to be more expensive, but turning around and trying to sell it back, you usually don't get very much money back. So I do usually try to do the rent process, especially with some of the classes that have really expensive books. So take a look at that. All right, so get the book, start looking through it. 2 weeks ahead. All right, so what I mean by be 2 weeks ahead is you're always working on this week, whatever's due this week, and the next week. And then next week, you're starting up the next week's work. And then the next week after that, you're starting up the next week's work. Don't ever just work on this week right now. Work 2 weeks at a time, so that way you kind of have an idea of what's going on. The last thing you want to do is get into class and realize something's due that you forgot, or be headed to class and realize that you forgot something, or get ready to go to sleep and then you realize, oh my gosh, I have to pull an all-nighter because I forgot this assignment, or this assignment is so much harder than the last assignment. Not all assignments are the same. Some assignments are a lot harder, some papers are going to be a lot harder. You might think that you know what you're doing, and then you start trying to look up the thing that you picked to write about, and it ends up being really complicated and hard. Another thing is talk to the professors, whether it's by email, by messaging through Blackboard, by raising your hand in class. Talk to the professors and try to sit up at the front of the classroom. If you're sitting in the very back of the classroom, obviously, you know, you might feel more comfortable back there, but you're not going to be learning as much. So try to sit up at the front of the classroom if you can. Sometimes I do sit in the very back if it's really crowded and that kind of stuff, but I always try to raise my hand or ask questions in class. If I just start asking the person next to me, I'm not really going to be getting the information I need. So when I'm confused about something, don't just start asking people around you. They're in the same class as you, so that means they haven't passed it, and that means that they don't really know what the professor wants. No one is a mind reader. So just ask the professor so you know what he's going to want or what she's going to want when you start filling out answers or coming up with stuff and writing papers and that kind of thing. All right, let's see. So download the Blackboard app. I actually have a Blackboard app set up so that I get notifications. So when my grades get posted, I can see where I'm at. And I try to keep up with my grades. I look at them quite a bit, maybe a little bit too much. So try to keep up with those. That way when you get to like midterms or something, and say if you have a C or a D, you can actually go set up a time with your professor and have a little chat and ask them what they think. Like, what do you need to change? What's wrong with what you're saying or you're doing or whatever? And ask them, what do you need to be able to either pass the class, make an A in the class, or whatever you're striving to do to meet your goal. All right, so show up early to class. If you have a really tight schedule, especially, make sure that you're not trying to get too much stuff done before you go to class. When you go to class, try to get there early. Try to be alert, pay attention, and that kind of thing. But also, you can ask questions before the class starts, usually at the very beginning, so take advantage of that. Sometimes we don't always have the time to actually go and have a sit-down chat with the professors. Professors are really busy, and so are we. So instead of just, trying to set up that kind of time, show up early to class, ask them questions a little bit ahead of time, and pick their brain a little bit. I'm sure that doesn't really bother the majority of them. Some of them aren't very nice, I totally understand that, but some of them would really appreciate it if instead of just blaming them for you not making a very good grade, you actually go up there and just ask them the questions. If you have a tight schedule, let the professor know. So sometimes when you have a tight schedule, like you've got one class in front of this class and it's all the way across the campus, instead of just showing up late to class every single day, let the professor know, hey, I'm trying to get there, but I have a class that's all the way across campus, so I'll get there as soon as I can. Try not to, talk too much after the other class is done, and get out of there as fast as you can. Also, if you're sitting at the front of the class, usually you can, usually it's closer to the door, so you can actually get out faster too. So that's one thing that might help you out as far as like getting to class on time. Okay, let's see. Don't let one bad professor ruin everything for you. I have had some professors that were really rude, some that didn't want to answer questions, some that were just not good. Everybody has that experience. Don't think that you're special in having that experience. It doesn't mean that you're bad or that you did something terribly wrong or anything like that. Sometimes it just means that they are not the greatest professors. So instead of getting upset about it, just try to deal with it like, okay, that's not so good, but I've got, a couple other classes where those are good professors, and try and lean on your other professors. Professors can be a really good resource. I know I have learned so much from my professors even after the classes are over. Just staying in contact with them if I have a question. They're always so nice to answer questions and to help me with something else. And then also one of my advisors now, she's my professor, but one of my advisors right now, she actually got the job for me that I have right now at the school because I asked her questions, and I was good, I was, I guess, humble enough to ask questions. Sometimes you might think that it looks stupid or something to ask questions, but instead it doesn't. It doesn't make you look stupid at all. It makes you look like you're paying attention enough to understand a little bit about what's going on. Another thing is set calendar dates. So get an actual paper calendar and either stick it up alongside the wall or put it, in your kitchen or someplace that you're at a lot. So one of the things that I'm in a lot is my bedroom. So put it over beside the door or something, so that way you see the calendar all the time, and then also write down the due dates, when things are due and what things are due. You could also take the syllabus and do the same thing. I for sure take my syllabus and punch 3 holes in it, stick it in a binder, and have that with me. You don't want to always have to rely on your phone or your internet provider or whatever to actually always work. So make sure that you have a backup plan of having it in an actual physical paper format. Sometimes I also go in and I add specific things to my calendar. So go into the Outlook email, you can add a date, everything that, say if you have an assignment that's due every Wednesday, you can go in there, put that's assignment's due every Wednesday, put a notification on it, and then that notification will alert you every single Wednesday that this is due at this time. So go ahead and do that as well at the beginning of the semester and get that done. Backup plan of having people in the class that you might know just a little bit. Well, that'll be it for today. So I hope that you enjoyed this. As I said earlier, just subscribe, comment, follow, do whatever. Let me know if there's anything specific you want to see in the next one, and I'll be happy to look into it. So have a great New Year's, guys. Bye.